I killed my best friend with a single eye, and it felt like justice until I woke up in her skin, staring back at the monster I'd become. 2 months after quitting my six-figure job in a haze of tears on 42nd Street, the universe decided I hadn't suffered enough. It handed me her life on a silver platter, laced with poison.
Now,
Every mirror is a battlefield, every breath a borrowed theft, and I'm unraveling the threads of her empire, one bloody secret at a time, wondering if revenge will set me free or chain me forever. The lights of Times Square blurred into a kaleidoscope of regret as I stumbled out of the Eugene O'Neill Theater, mascara streaking down my cheeks like war paint from a battle I never signed up for. Hamilton had gutted me, not the revolutionary fire or the soaring anthems, but the raw ache of ambition's cost, the way it chews up dreamers and spits out husks. I was Harmony Ellis, 32. Senior VP at Sterling Media Group, pulling $110,000 a year to peddle ad space for reality TV trash that made me want to puke. That night, as Aaron Burr's "The Room Where It Happens" echoed in my skull, I realized I'd been Burr for too long, waiting in the wings, scheming in shadows, while everyone else grabbed the spotlight. I quit the next morning. No dramatic email blast. No HR exit interview with forced smiles and severance negotiations. Just a curt text to my boss, effective immediately. Find someone else to sell your soul. Then I ghosted the city that had birthed me, holing up in my cramped Upper West Side walk-up with a bottle of cheap Merlot and a playlist of show tunes turned dirges. The betrayal hit harder than the hangover. It always did with Lena. Lena Voss. My ride or die since NYU Film School, where we'd bonded over bootleg screenplays and stolen Marlboros, dreaming of Oscars while scraping by on ramen. She was the spark, charismatic, ruthless, with cheekbones that could cut glass and a laugh that disarmed boardrooms. I was the steady hand, the one who crunched numbers and smoothed edges, the invisible architect behind her meteoric rise. By 28, she'd founded Voss Visions, a boutique production company that snagged Emmys for docuseries on everything from Silicon Valley grifters to Appalachian opioid ghosts. I joined as COO, trading my corporate leash for equity that papered our walls like wallpaper. But equity doesn't buy loyalty. 2 years in, Lena's crown jewel, a true crime pod about a Wall Street insider trading ring, blew up. It was gold. Interviews with whistleblowers, leaked emails, the works. Except the works included fabricated transcripts I'd flagged in revisions. Its narrative license, harm, she'd purred over late-night takeout, her green eyes gleaming like a cat with cream. Truth is boring. This sells. I caved. Signed off. And when the SEC came knocking 6 months later, accusing Voss Visions of disseminating false info that tanked a minor player's stock, the fallout was biblical. They pinned it on me. Me, the numbers girl. The one who'd begged for legal review. Lena's testimony was a masterclass in gaslighting. Harmony insisted on the dramatizations. She said it was essential for engagement metrics. Audio clips surfaced, deep-faked. I later learned, but who had the resources to prove it then? My name became synonymous with fraud. Sponsors fled. Investors sued. And Lena? She emerged unscathed, pivoting to a Netflix deal while I drowned in subpoenas and NDAs that gagged me silent. That's when the crying jag hit. Not just tears, sobs that racked my body like fever chills, the kind that leave you hollowed out. Broadway was my confessional, the one place where stories didn't lie. As I clutched my playbill on that rain-slicked sidewalk, I vowed, no more shadows. No more Lena. The surprising turn came on a Tuesday in late October. The kind of crisp fall day that smells like pumpkin spice and impending doom. I'd been crashing on friends' couches, temping as a barista in Brooklyn, when my phone buzzed with an unknown number. Harmony? It's Dr. Elias Crow. We met at that psych conference in 22. His voice was velvet over gravel. The sort that hooks you before you realize the line's barbed. Crow. The neuroethicist who'd cornered me at a panel on AI ethics. Rambling about consciousness transference like it was tomorrow's TED Talk. Body swaps aren't sci-fi. Darling, they're synapses firing in the wrong skull. I'd laughed it off as academic hubris, fueled by too much conference wine.
Now.
He was calling from a private clinic in the Hamptons. I've got a proposition. High risk, higher reward. You in. Desperation makes fools of us all. By Friday, I was strapped to a gurney in a sterile suite overlooking the Atlantic, IVs snaking into my veins like curious serpents. Crow explained it in clipped bursts, experimental neural mapping. A consciousness echo device that could imprint one mind onto another's neural net. Not a full swap, just a temporary overlay. Enough to walk in their shoes for therapeutic insight. His test subject? A willing participant in a custody battle, desperate to understand her ex's alienation. But as the machine hummed to life, electrodes buzzing against my temples, I caught the glitch in his eyes. Wait, Lena? The name slipped out like a gasp. Crow froze, then smirked. She volunteered you both. Said it was for closure. Old friends, right? The world dissolved into white noise. When I came to, the mirrors lied. Staring back was Lena's face, porcelain skin. That predatory smile, framed by my rumpled hospital gown. My hands, her hands, trembled as I touched the reflection. What the fuck have you done? Crow's laugh was a scalpel. Symbiosis. Harmony. She's in you now, but you're driving. Use it. Or don't. But her life's yours for 72 hours, until the echo fades. 72 hours. In Lena Voss's body. With her Rolodex of power and her vault of sins. The betrayal crystallized. This wasn't closure. It was her final con, handing me the keys to her kingdom, knowing I'd either burn it down or become her. I didn't hesitate. First stop, her penthouse on Billionaire's Row. The doorman nodded like I was the queen, and the elevator whisked me to a sprawl of glass and steel overlooking Central Park. Her closet alone could bankrupt a small nation, Chanel sheaths, Louboutins that screamed, "Step on me." But it was the hidden drawer in her desk that gutted me. A burner phone, logs of calls to the deepfake techie who'd framed me, and a ledger of payoffs to silence witnesses. She'd planned it all. The pod fraud was her shortcut to Netflix millions, and I was the fall guy she'd groomed for years. For us, harm, her ghost whispered in her mind, a faint echo like radio static. We were supposed to share the empire. Fuck sharing. I was here to dismantle it. By hour 24, I'd hacked her email. Password was our old NYU inside joke. Voss and Ellis forever, and fired off invites to a emergency board meeting at Voss Vision's HQ. Her board, venture capitalists in Brooks Brothers, Hollywood execs with coke-fueled grins, all orbiting her like planets to a black hole. They arrived expecting crisis management. They got Armageddon. Ladies and gentlemen, I said, channeling Lena's husky timbre as I projected the ledger on the smartboard. I've been a fraud. And so have you. Gasps rippled as I detailed the payoffs. The fakes. The SEC dodge. One VC bolted for the door. I blocked it with a security alert from her phone.
Seat.
Or I leak this to the Times before lunch. The room crackled with tension. The kind that precedes a storm. Her CFO, a weaselly prick named Harlan, blustered, "Lena, this is insane. You're cracking up." I leaned in, letting my eyes bore into him. Cracking up? Or just done playing nice? You sign the checks.
Harlan.
To the tune of $2 mill. He sweated. They all did. By meeting's end, I'd extracted confessions on tape, admissions of complicity, wire transfers rerouted to anonymous accounts. Controversial? Hell yes. Blackmail in a boardroom. Wearing your enemy's skin? That's the stuff of federal indictments. But desperation breeds devils. And I was feeling infernal. As the sun dipped below the skyline, I slipped into a gala at the Met, Lena's invite. Black tie affair for media moguls. There, amid champagne flutes and whispered deals, I cornered her mentor, the silver-haired titan who'd bankrolled Voss Visions. "Elias Crow sends his regards," I murmured, slipping him a USB with the deepfake blueprints. His face drained of color. "What is this?" "Insurance. Pull funding, or it goes public. Lena's empire crumbles either way." He agreed. Of course. Power bows to leverage. But as I swirled my Pinot Noir, her echo stirred again. "You're destroying me."
Harm. Us.
I silenced it with another sip, but doubt crept in like fog off the Hudson. Was I avenging my ruin, or just becoming the monster she always saw in me? Hour 48. The real storm brewed. A text from Crow. Echo destabilizing. Get back to the clinic, or the merge becomes permanent.
Permanent.
Her mind in mine in hers, two souls tangled like barbed wire. I ignored it, diving deeper into her web. Her safe yielded a flash drive, encrypted files on a cold case from her early days. A hidden run she'd covered up. The victim? Her college roommate. DOA after Lena. Buzzed on Molly. Plowed through a crosswalk in Daddy's Beamer. I'd borne that too. Indirectly. When the pod scandal broke, whispers linked it to her past recklessness. I defended her in interviews, painting it as youthful folly.
Now,
with her body thrumming adrenaline, I drove her Tesla to the crash site's outskirts, a quiet suburb in Westchester where ghosts lingered in the cul-de-sacs. The echo screamed as I parked. Don't. It's buried for a reason. But I dug. Metaphorically, phoning an old PI contact from my Sterling days, feeding him the cords and the plate number from the drive. Find the family. Tell them Lena Voss says sorry. By dawn, her phone lit up, furious voicemails from the board, a subpoena tease from the DA's office. The gala leak had rippled. Crow's funding pool was public. Voss Vision stock private, but whispered, tanked in after-hours trades. I laughed, a sound that was half hers, half mine, echoing hollow in the empty penthouse. But laughter died when the mirror caught me. Her face, but my eyes wild, unmoored. How long until the swap stuck? Until I forgot which sins were mine? The clinic loomed like a bad dream deferred, all sleek modernism masking the mad science within. I could have bolted for the Hamptons that morning. Let Crow yank the plug on this neural nightmare. But revenge isn't a sprint. It's a marathon through moral quicksand. And I was knee-deep.
Sinking fast.
Instead, I played Lena's socialite, jetting to LA for a crisis consult with Netflix brass, her jet, her Amex Black, her Rolodex of ass-kissers. LAX tarmac heat slapped me like a rebuke as I deplaned, her Louboutins clicking authority on the asphalt. The execs met me at a rooftop lounge in WeHo, ocean views mocking my inner turmoil. Lena, darling, the pod's DOA, gushed the head of Unscripted, a Botoxed blonde named Trish. SEC stinks too rank. But pivot to lifestyle? Your Appalachian series killed it. I smiled her smile. All teeth and no mercy. Pivot? How about we unpivot? I slid across the tablet with the ledger scans, redacted just enough to implicate, without indicting. Your kill came with bodies. Payoffs to keep the fraud quiet. Want the trades to know their darlings laundering through content. Trish's martini trembled. The table fell silent, save for the distant hum of traffic below. Controversial decision number 2, extortion at 30,000 feet. Or close enough. I could have walked away clean, let the board rot in their own greed. But no, this was for the nights I'd cried myself raw, jobless and slandered, while she toasted deals in my stolen spotlight. They caved faster than a house of cards in a gale. Netflix pulled the plug publicly, citing ethical concerns, but wired $5 mil to an offshore account I'd set up in her name, diverted, of course, to a trust for the hit-and-run victim's kin. Consider it restitution, I purred, clinking glasses. Her echo wailed, thief. That's my future. I shoved it down, focusing on the sunset bleeding orange over the Pacific. Her future was my payback. Back in NYC by red eye, hour 60 ticking like a bomb, I turned to the personal scalpel. Lena's little black book, digital, encrypted, but I'd cracked it with a brute force app from my barista downtime, was a who's who of conquests and casualties. There was Marcus, the ex who OD'd after she leaked his affair to leverage a merger. There was Sophia, the intern she'd blackballed for inappropriate advances that never happened. And there, buried in deleted threads, was me, drafts of the deepfake script, notes on my instability to feed the narrative. The apartment felt smaller, walls closing like a vice. I paced her marble floors, phone in hand, dialing contacts one by one. This is Lena Voss. Time to set records straight. To Marcus's sister, the truth about the leak.
Plus a check for rehab.
To Sophia, a glowing LinkedIn rec and an intro to a rival studio. Each call chipped at her pedestal, but the echo fought back harder. Flashes of her memories bleeding into mine, the thrill of the first Emmy, the loneliness of the penthouse, the fear that I'd always been the better half. Stop it, I hissed at the mirror, her face twisting in my rage. You made me the villain. Now live with the hero. But heroes don't sleep with switchblades under pillows. That night, as thunder rattled the windows, a knock shattered the silence. Harlan, the CFO,
Soaked and wild-eyed.
brandishing a key card like a talisman. Lena, you bitch. The board's turning. Feds are circling. What the hell are you playing at? I let him in, her silk robe whispering seduction even as my pulse hammered. Controversial? Inviting the snake into the garden. But knowledge is power. And he was the loose thread.
Pour yourself, Ascot. Harlan.
Let's talk empire.
He did.
Ranting about loyalty. About how Lena, promised him a corner office in the ashes of my frame job. I listened, nodding, until he spilled. The safes combination. The offshore slush fund.
Crow's involvement.
That quack? He owes me for the neural patents we buried. Your little swap stunt? My insurance policy. My blood iced. Crow wasn't neutral. He was bought. Harlan's grin was feral. Hand over the ledgers. Or I flip. You go down as the fraud queen. I laughed her laugh. Low and lethal. Wrong body. Harlan. And lunged. Not with fists, though, God. The temptation. With the phone. Live streaming to a burner account I'd prepped. Capturing his confession in 4K glory. He froze. Then lunged back. Grappling for the device. We tumbled across the rug. Her manicured nails raking his cheek. My knee driving into his gut. It ended with him zip-tied to a chair. Her kinky drawer had supplies. Wheezing apologies as I uploaded the stream anonymously to WikiLeaks tip line.
You.
You're not her, he gasped. Eyes bulging. Who the fuck are you? Justice, I whispered, tracing her finger along his jaw. Delayed, but divine. Dawn broke gray and unforgiving. Crow's texts escalated. Merge at 80%. Return now. The echo was constant now. A Greek chorus of her pleas and my doubts. Was this revenge or self-immolation? I toppled her professionally, seated her personally. But the cost, her body aching with my scars, her mind fraying at my edges, felt like drowning in quicksilver. I drove to the clinic anyway, Tesla hugging the curves of a Long Island expressway like a confession. The gates parted with her biometrics, and Crow waited in the lab, white coat pristine, smile serpentine. Harmony. Or should I say, Voss 2.0? You've been busy. Cut the echo, I demanded, strapping into the chair without prompting.
Now.
He adjusted dials, eyes gleaming. But where's the fun? Lena paid premium for permanence. Said you needed to feel her power. Or was it punishment? The machine word. But pain lanced through my skull, not release, but amplification. Flashes, her childhood, abandoned by a starlet mom. My own, stable but sterile, envying her fire. Then, the twist, the real betrayal. Not just the frame job. Years ago, in film school, I'd leaked her script to a prof for a grade boost.
Petty.
But it cost her a fellowship. She'd known. Waited. Weaponized it into the pod scam, making me pay in perpetuity. You bitch, I snarled, her voice cracking. All of it for that? Crow chuckled. Symbiosis. Remember? You're both the villain now. As the merge stabilized, I blacked out. Woke to sirens, Harlan's doing. No doubt. Feds swarming the lab. Cuffs snapping on wrists that were mine again?
No.
Still hers. The swap held. A glitch or a gift. And Crow vanished into the chaos. Lab in flames. Escape was instinct. I slipped out a side door, stealing a coat from a fleeing tech, melting into the Hamptons' morning mist. Her phone buzzed. Board resignations. Netflix lawsuit. The PI confirming the hit-and-run payout delivered. Her empire crumbled in real time. Pixels on a screen. But freedom tasted like ash. Where to now? Back to my hollow life. Or deeper into hers. A phantom queen haunting the ruins? The fugitive life suits a stolen skin better than you'd think, anonymous in its familiarity. A chameleon cloak woven from privilege. I ditched the Tesla in a Montauk dune, hot-wired a fisherman's pickup, skills from a rebellious teen phase. Thank you very much. And headed west. I-95 unspooling like a noose tightening. Lena's echo was a low hum now. Less fight. More fatalism. Run with me. Harm. We're in this together. Together. The word curdled. By Syracuse. I'd bleached her hair platinum in a truck stop bathroom, traded Louboutins for docs from a thrift bin, and burned her IDs in a Wendy's parking lot. Cash from her safe, $50K in crisp Benjamins, bought burner flips and motel rooms that smelled of despair and Febreze. News feeds on a cracked laptop painted me as the villain. Voss Vision's mogul vanishes amid fraud scandal. My old face flashed in wanted bulletins. But it was her body they hunted. Her empires collapsed the crime of the week. Podcast dissected it. Was Lena Voss a genius or a sociopath? I laughed into the void of a day's in. But the mirror mocked me. Her cheekbones sharpened by hunger. My eyes hollowed by hauntings. Controversial choice 3. Embracing the merge. Letting her memories bleed into strategy sessions with myself. She knew the players, the dirty cop who'd buried the hit-and-run report, the venture vulture holding compromat on half of Hollywood. Use me, she'd murmur in dreams. We're stronger fused. Stronger? Maybe. In Chicago, posing as a freelance producer, I infiltrated a film fest afterparty. Her charm dialed to 11. Target, Victor Hale, the indie darling who'd optioned her Appalachian series, only to gut it for marketability, erasing the real voices she'd exploited. I cornered him by the charcuterie, flute in hand.
Beak. Darling.
About that rewrite. He blanched, caviar breath souring. Lena? Christ. Your ghost. I leaned in, whispering the details of his offshore accounts, tips from her Echo's ledgers. Ghosts collect debts.
Cut a check to the subjects.
$1 mil each. Or your Sundance darling premieres with subtitles, funded by fraud. He wired it from his phone, hands shaking like a man at confession. You're unhinged. This isn't you. I smiled, her lips curving wicked. It's all me now. The road west blurred into a revenge odyssey, Denver, where I torched a billboard for her falsa stock, arson light, just a flare gun from a pawn shop, controversial, but cathartic, Austin, a South by Southwest panel where I hijacked the mic, outing a producer who'd betted interns for roles, her stories spilling from my mouth like venom. Audiences gasped, applauded, argued, am I hero or heel? The echo purred approval. But nights brought fractures, nightmares of the swap table. Crow's grin. Harlan's bound form. Had I gone too far? Blackmail begets backlash, by Omaha. Tips led feds to my trail. Choppers thumping like heartbeats. That's when the PI called, my Westchester hire. Voice gravel over static. Ellis? Or Voss? Found the family. Mom's dying.
Cancer.
Used your payout for morphine.
Says thanks.
But the daughter's suing Voss Visions. Civil. But it'll drag your name, her name, through hell. Guilt. That old bastard. Clawed up. I'd borne Lena sins before. But this? Weaponizing grief for payback? I hung up, flooring the pedal toward the Badlands. South Dakota's jagged spires mirroring my splintered soul. There, in a roadside bar thick with bikers and regret, I met the Twist's harbinger, a grizzled vet nursing a bud, eyes like chipped flint. You look lost,
sister.
Her body drew confessions like moths to flame. Over whiskeys, I spilled not all, but enough, the swap, the frame, the crumbling throne. He nodded, scars mapping his own wars. Revenge is a mirror.
Kid.
Shatters easy. Cuts deep. Then, the bomb. Knew a crow once. Elias's pops. Neuro-wizard. Till he fried experimenting on POWs. Ethics be damned. Boy took the reins. But the sins stick. Crow's lineage, a family trade in mindfuckery. It clicked. The swap wasn't random. Lena hadn't just volunteered us. She'd commissioned it. Post-scandal. To understand her fall guy. But Crow, with his daddy issues, twisted it permanent. A power play within a con. The echo surged, furious. Lies. I paid for therapy. Not this. But memories flooded. Hers. Of clinic consults. Crow's oily assurances. A glimpse. MS.
Voss.
Empathy training. Empathy. The ultimate irony. I fled the bar at midnight. A truck eating miles toward the Pacific. Fed's net closing. Portland by dawn. Rain like tears on the windshield. There, in a cyber cafe reeking of stale soy lattes. I hacked deeper, her cloud backups, the Crow's dark web forum posts. Jackpot. Schematics for the Echo device. User logs showing not one swap, but dozens. Celebrities trying on rivals' lives. Politicians ghosting scandals. Crow wasn't clinician. He was puppeteer. Strings pulled for the highest bidder. My hands, her hands flew over keys. Downloading. Anonymizing. Seeding to journos. ProPublica. The Intercept. Neural black market, when minds become merchandise. It went viral by noon. Hashtags exploding. Mind swap scandal. Voss visions trended too. Her face, my face, plastered beside mine from old headshots. The internet erupted. Was I victim or villain? Accusations flew. Deepfake doubles. Corporate psyops. Controversy crested. Cable news looped debates. Shrinks opining on dissociative revenge. But the real storm hit in Seattle.
A2O, Fed unmarket sedan.
2 suits who'd traced the truck's plates. I ditched it in a ferry lot, boarding the Bainbridge run as a hoodie-clad ghost. Water churned below, matching my gut. The echo whispered truce. End it. Harm. Call Crow. Merge back. Tempting. But truces are for cowards. Instead, I phoned the hidden run daughter. Voice modulated soft. This is harmony. The other half. Lena's paying. But I need your help. She hesitated. Then agreed, her law firm. Hungry for class action glory against Voss and Crow Enterprises. Alliance forged in Grease Forge. By Vancouver, border hopped on a Greyhound. Cash greasing palms, I'd rallied a coalition. Ex-swap victims from Crow's logs. Anonymous whistleblowers. Even Harlan, who'd flipped for immunity after his confession vid surfaced. We met in a dim brewpub. Faces shadowed. Plotting the kill shot. Take it all, I urged. Her charisma rallying them. Not for me. For the stolen selves. They nodded. But doubt flickered. Was I liberator or parasite? Wearing her skin like a trophy? As plans coalesced. Leaks to Congress. Raids on clinics, the merge pulsed. A migraine of unity. Her memories wove with mine. Shared laughs in dorms. Tears over rejections. The pod night when she'd hugged me. Whispering, we're unbreakable. Betrayal born of love's warp. Ambition's blade. Night fell cold over the sound. I stood on a pier. Waves gnashing. Contemplating the jump. not death, release?
But no.
The game wasn't over. The crow still pulled strings. And Lena's empire, though ash, left embers. Exile in the Pacific Northwest sharpened the blade, turning survival into strategy. Vancouver's fog cloaked me like a conspirator, its tech underbelly buzzing with coders who'd sell souls for crypto. I rented a basement in East Van, dank. $800 a month from slush funds, and transformed it into War Room Central. Whiteboards scrawled with timelines, swap date, October 15th. Scandal drop, October 20th. Fed raids, projected November 5th. The Echo, once a banshee, mellowed to advisor. Crow's weak spot, funding. Hit the donors. Smart. Her mind mapped the veins. Pharma heirs. Silicon overlords who'd bankrolled the Echo Tech for executive empathy training. I doxed them subtly. Phishing emails laced with ledger snippets. Crow's forum screen caps. Invest in mines or lose yours. Withdrawals snowballed. By week 2, his clinics hemorrhaged cash. Auctions of neural patents hitting dark pools. But power vacuums breed vipers.
Arlan resurfaçait via encrypted chat.
His immunity deal souring. Feds want you, Lena. Testify. Or extradition. I countered with his deeper dirt, embezzlement from Voss slush. Funneled to mistresses. Testify on me, and yours goes prime time. He slunk back, but the pressure mounted. Paparazzi drones over the border. Interpol alerts pinging my burners. Controversial pivot for going public.
Sorta.
I cut a video in that basement. Ring light casting her face in ethereal glow. Part confessional. Part manifesto. I'm Harmony Ellis, trapped in Lena Voss's body. She framed me.
Crow swapped us.
And together they've stolen lives. Join the fight. No makeup. Just raw plea. Uploaded to a Tor-hosted site mirrored on Reddit. TikTok rants. It detonated. Body swap revenge trended global. Protests outside clinics. Senators grilling in hearings. Me Too met Black Mirror. Feminists hailed me icon. Ethicists decried vigilante justice. Debates raged in bars from Brooklyn to Bollywood. Empowerment or endangerment. The backlash bit hard. Trolls dox Lena's haunts. Forcing a midnight bolt to Seattle's underbelly. Abandoned warehouse squats. Where I linked with swap survivors. There was Theo, a Wall Street bro who'd tried on his rival's life, only to wake addicted to her coke habit. And Mira, an actress ghosted into a director's misogyny, emerging with PTSD etched in scars. We huddled over camp stoves, swapping stories like contraband. You're the spark, Theo grunted, passing a flask. But fire burns both ways. He was right. The video drew Crow. A email from his ghost account. Clever girl. Clinic in Reno, neutral ground. Emerge. Or the coalition crumbles. I have your friends. Attached. Photos of the PI's car keyed. Myra's agent's office vandalized. Trap? Obviously. But truces tempt when tired. I flew standby to Nevada, her passport still gold. Pre-scandal, landing in desert heat that baked regrets. Reno's glitter strip clashed with my hoodie, but the clinic squatted on the outskirts. A brutalist bunker amid sagebrush. Crow waited in the lobby, flanked by security goons in ill-fit suits. Harmony, he drawled. No white coat, just bespoke linen. Arrogance incarnate. Or whatever you call yourself now. Impressive chaos. But chaos tires. Cut the merge, I echoed. hands steady despite the thrum. Her voice lent steel. He led me to the lab, machines humming like judgmental bees. Straps again. IVs pricking. One condition, sign this. NDA thick as a Bible. Absolving him. Voss visions.
All.
For closure. I signed. Pen biting paper. As the word built. Pain bloomed, not release. But revelation. Flashes. Not her memories.
Mine. Distorted.
The script leak in NYU? Fabricated. I'd aced that semester. She'd forged the prof's email to sabotage me early. Planting doubt. The pod dramatizations? I'd vetoed them. Her deep fake made it look like approval. Layer upon layer. Her gaslighting unpeeled.
You.
Built the cage. I gasped. Electrodes sparking. Crow leaned close. Breath minty. Symbiosis requires sacrifice. Lena chose you as mirror flawless Patsy. The machine screamed. Alarms blaring. Goons burst in. But too late, the coalition's hack hit. Firewalls crumbling. Data dumping live to the web. Crow's empire exposed. Swap logs. Victim vids. Billion-dollar black ops. Chaos erupted, feds swarming our tip. Goons scattering. I ripped free, her body convulsing as the merge frayed. Not full unswap, but partial, echoes lingering, like tinnitus of the soul. Escape through service tunnels, lungs burning alkali. Outside, dust devils danced. I hitched to the highway, thumb out like a penitent. Vegas lights beckoned, a siren's call to drown or deal. There, in a circus comp suite, her name still opened doors. The climax crested. Lena's bored remnants summoned a reconciliation at the Bellagio. Crystal chandeliers mocking the mud. They wanted assets liquidated. Scandals buried. I arrived in her slinkiest gown, Echo purring warily. You're late, the chairwoman sneered. A harpy in Hermes. Fashionably, I replied, projecting the final ledger, their cut of every con, from pods to payoffs. Sign over control, or this hits Bloomberg at Bell. Bluff, half. The feds had most, but this was personal, her throne for my freedom. They balked, blustered, but folded under the weight. Voss visions dissolved by midnight. Assets funneled to victims' funds, hit-and-run heirs. Framed execs like me, swap survivors. As ink dried, the echoes surged triumphant. We did it.
We.
The pronoun stung. But victory soured at dawn. A call from the PI. DNA match on the hit-and-run. Lena's prints on the wheel.
Discharging, posthumous.
But your face. In her body. Extradition loomed. I'd avenged, but inherited the noose. The Bellagio's opulence curdled overnight. Sweet turning cell as bounty hunters circled. Amateur, but eager. I slipped out pre-dawn, slipping a valet 50 for his Prius, weaving through dawn traffic to the strip's underbelly. Her echo, frayed but fierce, narrated escapes, left at the Mirage, Service Alley. We were a dyad now. Jekyll and Hyde hitchhiking to redemption or ruin. Interstate 15 carved north. Toward the unknown. Radio crackling with our saga. Fugitive media heiress or victim. Sparks global ethics debate. Callers phoned in. She's a monster.
No.
Corporate whistleblower. The controversy we'd craved now caged us. Every mile a potential bust. Utah's salt flats stretched endless. mirroring my mind's expanse, vast, vacant, veined with venom. There, in a Provo diner sticky with syrup,
The daughter found me.
she'd tracked the Prius plates, law firm's resources, a bloodhound's nose. Harmony, she whispered, sliding into the booth, eyes like her mother's, wounded.
Wise.
We talked for hours, coffee refills, pie wedges forgotten. Her name was Riley, 28, a public defender grinding against the machine that had orphaned her. Mom never blamed Lena. Said accidents happen. But the cover-up? That killed her slow. She slid a folder, DA's file. Ironclad on the crash. Voss's fingerprints molecular. I can fight it, Riley offered. Class action against Crow. Voss estate. Your testimony, our testimony seals it.
Our.
Again. I nodded, but the echo recoiled. Snitch? After all? Fracture lines deepened, headaches pulsed like Morse. Run/fight/run/fight. We drove to Salt Lake, her rental a shield, plotting in whispers. The twist inverted everything, not just her betrayal, but mine. In merged memories, I'd glimpsed it, post-NYU, desperate for a break. I'd shopped Lena's script as mine to an agent. Anonymous tip. It backfired, blacklisting her subtly, fueling her grudge. Petty theft of art, repaid in career crucifixion. We both started it. I confessed to Riley. Canyons yawning below. Cycle of sins. She gripped the wheel. Then break it.
Testify.
Truth reverses the lie. The hearing convened in a federal courthouse in Denver, neutral ground. Post-extradition deal brokered by Riley's firm. I surrendered at the border. Her body scanned. Psyche prodded by shrinks who deemed me lucid composite. Crow testified first, cuffed and cowed, spilling the black market under oath. Victims followed. Theo's Wall Street wreckage. Myra's stolen spotlight. Harlan groveled for leniency. Bored harpies bartered tears. My turn, the stand, her face under Klieg lights. Voice a blend of timbres. I am Harmony Ellis. Wearing Lena Voss. She framed me for her fraud. Crow swapped us for profit.
But I
sparked the feud years ago. Stole her dream.
She stole mine.
Revenge blurred the lines. Who's the ghost now? Gasps. Flashes. Murmurs. The judge. A grizzled Texan.
Leant in,
You're a medical marvel and a moral minefield. But truth? That's the only unswapable verdict. Voss estate liquidated for reparations. Crow life in Supermax. Me, composite custody. Monitored unmerge in a Colorado psych ward. Controversial to the end. Am I free? Or forever fused? Months blurred in therapy suites. Electrodes coaxing separation. The echo faded. Her essence a whisper. Forgive? I did. Maybe. Mirrors showing my face reclaiming contours. Scars mine alone. Outpatient by spring. I tempied again, not barista, but script consultant for a doc on neural ethics. Broadway called back. A new musical. Swap souls. My story optioned, with credit. Shared. Opening night. I sat front row. Tears clean this time. No betrayal salt. But the debatable dawn. Did I win? Empire ashes. Sins aired. Yet the merge left ghosts, flashes of her laugh in mine. Ambition's fire tempered, but unquenched. Happy? Tragic? You decide.
Me?
I walk both lines. A woman remade. wondering if revenge ever truly ends or just swaps places. Riley visits Sundays, the payout funding her firm's pro bono wing. "You gave us justice," she says. I smile. "Fully mine." We gave ourselves. The curtain falls. Lights up. Life's encore awaits, flawed, fused,
Free.